Modi, in fact, he says that he spoke to the president of Iran, Dr. Pezeshkian. He says we discussed in detail about the current situation, expressed deep concern at the recent escalations, reiterated our call for immediate de-escalation, dialogue and diplomacy as the way forward and for early restoration of regional peace, security and stability. That is the tweet coming in from the Prime Minister, batting for de-escalation and dialogue. All right, let's take this across to our guest now. Joining us with us is Ashok Sajanar, former diplomat. Also with us is Frederick Landau, Commander Reserve of the Israeli Intelligence Special Forces. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Ashok Sajanar, the Prime Minister's tweet there, very significant. It's coming at a time when the Israel Foreign Minister, in a briefing that's currently underway, has just come out to say that it's not just nuclear facilities that were bombed. He's come out to say it's the UN Charter and NPT that's been bombed as well.
Yeah, that's right, Madhav. Thank you very much for having me on the show. You are very right. I think he made a very loaded comment. Of course, said rule of law, the UN Charter, NPT, all of them have been bombed. But then at the end, just before we moved out of that press conference, he also said, we are not, I'm not going to share with you what we are going to do. But it's a fact that NPT has failed to protect us. So is this an indication that there might be some move or some very active thinking on the part of Iran that they might withdraw from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty? And if that happens, then I think we will really have to very seriously consider what are going to be the implications. But coming back to Prime Minister Modi's tweet and his conversation with President Pezeshkian, I think that is very significant. The whole world, in fact, is today asking for de-escalation and for talks to resolve the matter. You would remember that when Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had spoken to Prime Minister just after, after the 13th, when the first attacks from Israel had taken place on Iran. That is the time also that Prime Minister had advised that a battlefield will not, action on battlefield will not resolve any issue. And this is what External Affairs Minister Jaishankar told Mr. Arakchi and told the Foreign Minister of Israel in separate conversations. So I think Prime Minister Modi is taking this forward, and it would be, I think, appropriate for all warring parties, Iran and Israel in particular, the two of them, because America has dissociated itself from this unless Iran retaliates against its own military assets and its own personnel in the region.
Absolutely. And in fact, Frederick Landau, we don't know what Iran's response is going to be. Of course, the possibility of them taking it physically to the Western world and to the United States seems remote. But within the Middle East itself, for instance, a lot that's being spoken about the U.S. bases, for instance, in the Middle East, including in Saudi Arabia and other countries, which could potentially be Iran's target. If that does happen, we could be looking at a massive escalation in the fighting. Frederick Landau.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me on your show on this historic day. If Iran decides to retaliate against the American bases or American outposts, embassies, etc., they are declaring war on the United States. This whole operation that started just over a week ago had one objective, and that is to stop the nuclear program of Iran, to stop the ballistic missile program, and to basically try to stop World War III. In June of 1944, the American president joined his allies to stop World War II. Last night, the American president joined his allies to stop a possible World War III. We see that all the nations around the world, on both sides of the world, if it's Europe, China, Russia, they are not getting involved. Nobody wants a World War III. There is no need for escalation. There is a need for a peace agreement, 100%. The people of Iran and the people of Israel want nothing more. And the way to do that is for the terrorist Iranian regime to understand that it's game over for them. They need to put this ambition to have a nuclear capability and to continue chanting death to America and death to Israel, to put that aside and find a way to bring Iran back to 1979, where it was a prosperous, cultured, educated, wonderful country.
Okay.
It was with peace in Israel then, and we want that again.
All right. Will that really happen on ground? How will it happen, and what really will be the end game as far as this entire conflict is concerned? Can there be a de-escalation? That's the big question indeed, and that's one that the Prime Minister also very clearly is batting for. I'm going to request both of you to stay on with us. Ashok Sajjanhar, Frederick Landau. We're slipping into a quick break. We'll be back on the other side with more breaking news and analysis on the situation as it's evolving in the Middle East.